Hello. Hello, and welcome to a special live stream of the Katie Halper Show. We are doing this additional live stream. We usually stream, as people may know, Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. And you can find the show every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. But we are doing this additional live stream because there's a really important story that has not been receiving much media attention. So we wanted to make sure to do that. And we did talk about it with Junaid Ahmad this past Tuesday, and that is the treatment of Imran Khan, the former prime minister of Pakistan, who's been imprisoned and has been subjected to mental torture. And in order to get a better understanding of what's been happening in Pakistan and to Imran Khan, we're going to bring on Aleema Khan, the sister of Imran Khan, who has been protesting for his freedom and for human rights and civil rights in general. So welcome to the show, Aleema Khan.
Thank you, Katie, for having me on your show.
Of course. Wanted to start off before we get into specifics, and there's some really important breaking news. You've been charged under the terrorism laws. There was a recent protest that was cracked down on very violently. There was tear gas used, poisonous substances, water cannons. But because this is something that is not receiving a lot of attention in Western media and even on the Katie Halper Show, because we're very focused on Gaza, but we are now shifting to this important story. Can you just set up a little bit about how you've arrived at this moment, why your brother is in jail in the first place?
Well, my brother's government, just to sort of give a little background, was removed from office. His government was removed through a no confidence motion in 2022 April. And since that time, I think when they removed him, you have to keep in mind that he was in government for 3.5 years. Actually, it's a 5-year term, and he was in government for 3.5 years. And that was the time from 2018 to 2022. If you recall, that was also the time of COVID. At that time, I think Pakistan was one of the 2 or 3 countries which Pakistan had a 6% GDP growth during 2021. And in spite of COVID, Pakistan was one of the 4 countries that actually showed substantial growth because obviously economies matter, and especially in the West, you know that everything is around employment, everything is around growth. That's the focus, because that when you're people-centric, then your focus is the growth and the economy. This was the situation, and he went to Russia, I think in February. He went to Russia and he was looking for a 30% discount on wheat and I think something on oil. That was what was in the interest of Pakistani people. So things started going bad after that, because I think Russia went to war with Ukraine. This is just the background, how it started. But what happened is when they removed him in 2022, April, I don't think whoever had conspired to remove him were really prepared for the reaction from the people. The public came out on the streets in protest, understanding that this was a manipulated sort of a situation where they had bought out his party members, bought them out or pressurized them. So that's when the movement started. He was on the road after that. He was in rallies, and the country was mobilizing. Then they started creating cases against him, to a point that it reached 200 cases. A man who had had no case on himself in all his lifetime now had about 200 cases registered against him by 2023. So he said, I'll face my cases. So he was trying to face his case. Keep in mind that he had 2 assassination attempts. One was timely, they sort of found out about it. that there were sniper rifles in Islamabad. So he was warned, so he left in a hurry. But the other time, he wasn't so lucky. And that was in 2022. I think it was 2022, November. And he was shot in his legs. It could have been worse, but he had a fractured leg from the bullet. For him, he's been inside and hasn't left for the past 3 years. It's not just the jail. It's after he was shot. He was bound to the house because he had a broken leg. And from November onwards, until the time he was arrested, he was basically housebound. And my brother is a person who's a completely outdoor person. Even when he was a prime minister, he would prefer to hold his meetings out in the grounds rather than in a room. And he was first locked up inside because of his injuries. He couldn't leave. And then for security reasons. In August 2023, they arrested him, 5th August. 4th August, I know for a fact that he had received an offer to leave the country if he will be given safe passage if he leaves the country. Otherwise, he'll be arrested. So he said, I will face my cases. I will clear my name in front of the courts, in the courts. And then he was arrested the next day. He did face his cases in jail. And the cases, jail trials started because they don't want to bring him out. They don't want to produce him in high court. They don't want anybody to see him. They don't want him to be seen by the public. So they basically nobody's seen him since he's been in jail, because they ensure that he's not taken to a court outside in public. His trials there's a community center, and they created a courtroom out of the community center. We were given permission because, remember, if you do not have family, public, and media present, it's considered a closed trial. So to fulfill the requirements of an open trial, they have no option but to allow the family in. One. Secondly, they did allow media in. They sort of told them to control themselves, and they censored some of what was said in the first year and a half of those trials. So my brother was able to speak to the media. When the media came into court, he was able to speak to them. But then people started noticing, we noticed it, that what you're saying to them in jail, during the jail trial, media is not able to publish that. So then he started telling us to give the message. So we eventually were just bringing his message out the way he wanted it said. So we'd come out of jail and jail court, but basically from the jail, and we'd go, and there was always media outside the jail, and we'd come out and give his message. So it became a routine. That's all I think I've done, was to ensure that we can bring out his message. And even when he gave his message, my sisters, myself, sometimes when there were lawyers in the court, we tried to remember what he said. And he's very structured in the way he gives his message. So we would try to remember his message. So we all would listen to it. And when we came outside, we spent about 15, 20 minutes structuring it together and ensuring that we could carry the burden of his message. I mean, we had to ensure that we could get his message out to the public.
And what is
sometimes
that message?
Any message that he would send. And then whatever message he had to say, it was first on the media. Media is controlled in Pakistan, 100% controlled. You can't take Imran Khan's name. It's like banned. You can't show his picture, and then they censor what is said, his message also. But then he would sort of instruct that you make sure that it goes onto his Twitter account. So his message was narrated onto, it was published on his Twitter account. And over a period of time, that became an issue for the government. And I think everybody understands, they keep saying, and that's what we keep getting charged with, that you're attacking the military. My brother has never attacked the military. He's only taken one name and he's held him responsible. And I don't understand what the issue is, because he is in charge of the country right now. There is a government in place, which is what you call a coalition of two parties who were earlier on against each other, but now are in a coalition. Can you hear me?
Yes. Sorry. Sorry, I just made you full screen.
Okay. So the government, in fact, people in the government always say that we are not the decision makers. So while they put him in jail, first they put him in jail in 2022. Then they systematically started trying to disband his party. They banned the symbol, they banned the party, they started arresting people. They sort of set the stage for the elections. And they were, I think, very satisfied with all their handiwork, that if anybody, they would pick up anybody. If they found out that you're going to be a candidate for Imran Khan's PTI without a symbol even.
The PTI is the party. It's his political
party. There, Pakistan Tehreek Insaf is his party. So they would get picked up, abducted in the middle of the night. So they created a lot of fear at that time. 2022 was a year of a lot of fear. People were really scared. They didn't know it was in the middle of the night. Women were abused, children were mistreated when they entered the homes, to create fear for any male candidate, that see how abusive we can be to your children and your wife and your mother. So it became, people were fearful for the safety of their own families. Their businesses were destroyed. So it was a stage set for elections. There was no campaigning, there was no campaigning by Imran Khan's party candidate. There was no campaigning, full stop. It was the most silent elections in the history of the world, not just Pakistan. It was the most silent election in the history of the world. If anybody can show me footage for 10 days before the elections and show me even a single rally, Imran Khan's party was banned from campaigning, while the other parties would not dare come out in public to hold a rally because they feared the people. Right. Imran Khan's candidate feared the government, and the establishment favorite party feared the people. It was that simple. So there was no rallies. So they thought they were all set for the elections in 2024. It was 8th February 2024. They thought they were absolutely ready and set. There was no PTI. Now, this was in collusion with the Chief Justice of Pakistan at that time. The judgments he's handed out, if anybody should be committed for crimes, should also be the judges who were participants in this crime against the people of Pakistan. So when the elections came, I think that 8th February should be recorded in the world history of elections as a single election with no campaigning, no candidate visible to anybody, no symbol for a party. Remember, no symbol, we have illiteracy, so we need symbols. What they did as a joke was that they handed out separate symbols. Imran Khan's symbol was a cricket bat. Everybody knew what to vote for.
He was a cricket player, for people who don't know.
Yes, so he was a cricket player. So his party, since it got registered with a cricket bat, everybody knew about the cricket bat. But on 8th February, there were people with at least 220 symbols. Each candidate was given a racket, a wheelchair, uh, vegetables. It was like they thought birds, butterflies, queens or kings. It was like you should see the list of symbols they handed out. But imagine what the people did. That's what I think should be considered a soft revolution in the world. That people in the villages, you didn't need literacy, learned their symbols. They did not go and vote for a name. They learned the symbols of their candidate and they went and voted. As a result, Imran Khan and his party ended up with 2/3 majority in the country on the 8th of February. There was such a big panic that they didn't announce the election results that night. Results, television screens showed majority of certain candidates. Screens were blanked out. Panic reigned in the whoever was responsible for this. 9th February, because the margins were so huge, like they were, I'll give you an example. One candidate had 40,000 votes. The one in the lead had 160,000 votes, 180,000 votes. The lead was such that they could not add ballot paper to the boxes. So there is a form that once the form leaves the polling station, it's called Form 45. And then there is a returning officer who has something called a Form 47. Trust me, we never knew about Form 45 or Form 47. Right now, everybody in Pakistan knows that Form 45 is what we won on 8th of February. And Form 47 is where if you had 70,000 votes, all they had to do was add one in front of it. Commonwealth sent a commission, so did European Union. And Commonwealth report once leaked said there was massive rigging. But nobody in the democratic world spoke about it at all.
Yeah.
It was massive rigging. And nobody spoke about it. So they stole the election. They stole the election and handed it over to their favorite parties. Now, when you are sitting in the parliament, remember in Pakistan, stealing a vote comes under act of treason. It's called Article 6, which means treason. So anybody who steals a vote is considered a traitor, and you're tried under Treason Act. So after this massive, whatever banditry that they did, when they stole the election, now they had to create a 2/3 majority. They filled up. I mean, they even over the past 1 year, they've been giving 10-year sentences to people. Oh, you were responsible for conspiracy, 10-year sentence. You are now convicted. So now you are removed from the National Assembly. They had to be, they removed about 10, 15 more people from his party from the assembly. With the 2/3 majority, they passed 2 amendments to the Constitution. Now that is where the massive damage happened. One is called 26th Amendment and the other one is 27th Amendment. In the 26th Amendment to the Constitution, which is exactly 13 months ago, they basically brought the whole judiciary and converted it into a government department. They basically took away the autonomy of the judiciary. And they could bring any judge that they wanted and put him on top in the High Court, so that the decisions and all this to ensure that Imran Khan doesn't get a fair trial, just to ensure that. Everybody in Pakistan knows that now. In the 27th Amendment, there's a 28th one coming. 27th Amendment is individual specific. The president of the country, the field marshal of the country, and at that time, which is Asim Munir, and at that time when they were preparing this amendment, Also, the Prime Minister of the country have given themselves lifetime immunity.
Right.
100
Convenient.
lifetime, not till the tenure, but lifetime immunities. So these three positions gave themselves immunity, but unfortunately, the poor Prime Minister's immunity had to be withdrawn simply because if this Prime Minister gets immunity, then Imran Khan also gets immunity because he's also next Prime Minister. So this is how scared they are, basically. I would say that they're absolutely fearful. What they had planned, what they had thought would happen. The problem is Imran Khan's voice is not his voice, it's not him. They've got him in prison. It's the people who trust him. At the moment, everybody knows 90% of people in Pakistan are following him. It's not him, this elite capture, as my brother calls it, is after. It's not Imran Khan. It's the 90% people who've woken up. What the biggest contribution Imran Khan has done is to create the awareness amongst people that they have equal rights in this country. They have a right to ask for, they have a right to demand an equal position or an equal status in Pakistan. And
so can you talk about, oh, sorry. Can you talk, this is fascinating. I just want to make sure that people, this is really good background, a great primer on recent Pakistani history and the history of why Imran Khan is where he is. But can you tell us what his conditions are right now in prison and whether the family has been allowed to visit? And then we'll turn to this recent protest and also to the fact that you've been charged under terrorism laws. But before I do that, this is not self-promotion for the show. This is because a lot of people in the comments are saying, like, I request other independent channels in the US to give coverage to the huge injustice being done. People are very excited that we're doing this interview. So make sure that you share this stream, like wherever you are, use your social media, because we want to make sure people are watching this, because this is a stream time we don't usually do. And because this is an important story. And another thing you can do is to like the stream. Again, this isn't because I personally want to be liked. It's because then more people will see it, and they'll be it'll penetrate social media more, because there, especially with Pakistan, there's so much social media suppression and repression and shadow banning. And we'll get into later how there's a lot of deep fake. So please do like the stream and share the stream. So sorry, back to my question about the conditions in which your brother finds himself and whether the family has been allowed to visit.
The reason, Katie, the reason I thought it's very important for the background is because if you have to understand why he is in jail.
Yeah, exactly.
Why is he being isolated? Because over the past 6 or maybe about a few months, remember, we were the only time we've been able to see him. These visits are like routine jail visits for family and for lawyers and for his party people. This has not been allowed since April. It's nearly 9-10 months that this hasn't been allowed. They sort of squeezed on the first. There were 6 family members could visit. Then they started squeezing it into like maybe 3 can visit. If there are 4 families sitting outside, they'll allow 3. So it's been gradually, they've shrunk the quantity. But by April, we started sitting outside on a Tuesday because that's our meeting day, because we've got court orders for it, the lawyers and the family. And they started limiting how many people can go in, and sometimes once in every 2 weeks. So Tuesday, we don't let go off. But when the trial started, there's another jail trial that started some months ago in jail, maybe I think July, they started this trial, August. And in that trial, our lawyer refused to allow the trial to start unless the family was not allowed in. That's the only reason we were allowed into, and we were able to see him sometimes several times a week, and for several hours. Bushra Bibi and him, his wife, were both there. Her family would also come, and we'd go there, and we had a chance to sit with them for several hours in the jail court. But when the trial ended, that's on the 16th of October. So it's 2 months. So since 2 months, they, because our regular Tuesday visits were not allowed, Bushra Bibi and his wife they are both isolated. So we would sit outside the jail every Tuesday, and under pressure, because there were so many people sitting there, allowed my sister to go in once. Once was, I think, on the 21st of October, then on the 28th of October, and then on the 4th of October. So they say that he speaks against the whole military. My brother never speaks against the military. Just for your information, everybody in the military and the police support him. He does always say that the Field Marshal Asim Munir is 100% responsible for my being in jail and for Bushra, his wife, being in jail. He said that a few times. So this, most probably, this ban on our visits, or that his message shouldn't come out, is because of the one name that he takes. So the last time when my sister went in and brought out his message, they said, you were told not to make any political statement. Well, I did explain that, first of all, Asim Munir is not a politician if you are saying that we shouldn't have political discussion. He's a government servant.
Right.
So you can't even talk about a government servant? Like, I don't understand. I mean, if it's a technical ban, then he's not a politician, because this is not politics. We're talking about general who's ensuring that that's what my brother says. He says he is responsible. Last time my sister went in, he said, if anything happens to me, that Asim Munir is responsible for anything that happens to me or my wife in jail. So that's most probably why we are being banned. And that's why we are all facing cases, is because nobody else matters in the country right now. It's just one name.
Right. And it must be very challenging, because you want to be defending your brother, you want to be speaking out, but sometimes when you do that, there's retaliation against you and your family.
Well, we will speak out.
Yeah.
We will, because in Pakistan, when we speak out, if there are young bloggers, they are threatened. They get phone calls in the middle of the night. They can't. They've been picked up. So they are actually called and warned that you'd better not take his name. You can take anybody's name. By the way, you can abuse politicians all day long. Any politician, it's okay. You cannot take this one name. That's about it.
Right.
So there are two names you can't take on our media. Keep that in mind. You can't say nice things about Imran Khan, and you can't say bad things about Asim Munir. That's how it works. They're just two names. So Imran Khan, when we met him, mashallah, he's in very good health, because he's in prison. He's got a stationary bicycle, and he does push-ups, and they do allow him into a courtyard. I'm not talking about
cricket?
right now.
Do they have any stationary cricket machines?
No, he doesn't play cricket anymore, but he is very disciplined about his exercise. Very disciplined about his exercise. It's his prayers. He reads. He needs books. By the way, I'll tell you how they tortured him, and I'll tell you where most of our energy went into, is trying to get books to him. I mean, we take books to jail. The only reason we were able to get books to him is because of jail trial. So while we are in that jail court, we all start making a fuss. We request the judge, please get the police to bring the books. It can take up to a few hours before they produce his books. So because of the judge's orders, we can get his books into the court, where then my brother would check the books. The last time when we went, I took 19 books. It's one of the biggest challenges that I think we have faced is books, because he seems to have read everything that comes out. And now he's like, last time he took 19 books. 5 he said I've read already. So that disturbs us, because now we are left with, out of 19, now we are left with 13.
Oh, wow.
So then he
And what kind of books does he like, by the way?
History, always history, always history, every history. He once, like he'd read 2 books on like Central Asian history. And then he wanted more, because he said, I need to fill in the gaps. And I had to we go around looking for books. And then we start begging people to say, can you check your libraries? Can you find this book? Then Pakistani, Indian subcontinent history. He's already always read a lot, but this time he's gone, like, he's sitting in, my cousins would visit and they are discussing again. My cousins are equally passionate about history. So on a 25-minute jail visit about a year and a half ago, my senior and a very sort of well-read cousin of ours, our older cousin, they were discussing some, I don't know, some war in 1610. And there was some huge breaking news out, and the policeman who was standing there with the policewomen was so surprised. When we left, he says, why were they so excited and passionate about what happened in 1610? Aren't they worried about what's happening outside? But this is how he's very well read. He understands history. And it's very important to understand history before you can understand current times. That's how. So the last time we gave him books, and he could read up to a couple of books a day. So the last time he received books was 16th of October. So my biggest concern, my sister and I were in jail maybe 3 weeks. I can tell you, even in those 3 weeks, the thing that saves you is the books. What else are you going to do? You're in prison. So books are very important to him. So he is very disciplined. He exercises and he reads. And since maybe if he hasn't received any books, he'll read his Quran, and then he will start reading the books that he already has. And the torture that they do to him, there are 2 things that they won't give him. Only 2 things that he's ever demanded. Again, it's his right to speak to his sons, Suleiman and Qasim, and to get his books. Every time he would stand in front of the judge, he asked for only. And these people, this is also part of torture. It's his legal right to speak to his children every week. They don't. Wow. Maybe 5 months. In the last 1 year, maybe they've had spoken to him about thrice. And last time it was like 5 minutes, or maybe 6 minutes a few months ago. So deprive him of speaking to his sons. That's how low they can be.
Right.
And then deprive him of his books, because that's the only 2 things he asked for. But last time when my sister visited, he was very angry. He's been, and Bushra Bibi have been in isolation for the past 7 weeks. He told her, he says, he was very angry, and he said, they are subjecting me to mental torture by isolating me. And mental torture is worse than physical torture. And this is my brother who never has ever complained about food, his living conditions. He's in a tiny little cell. Let me tell you, he's in a tiny little 8 by 10 cell with a toilet at the back. It includes 8 by 10 feet, also includes the toilet at the back. Wow. And they've cordoned off, what he told us, that they've cordoned off 8 rooms, like facing each other, 8 cells. Mm-hmm. And they've cordoned it off for security reasons. So there's a dank, dark cells in front of him, locked. One is where they cook his food, because he's separated. We never give him anything to eat, because tomorrow they also feel, the police also feels that if we give him anything from outside, like send him food, they think that could be laced with something, and we feel that they'll say that whatever came out had poison in it. So all shopping is done by them. Funds are deposited in the jail account. And so he is Whatever he eats is from his own money. But food he never bothers about. He never talks about it. He says, I eat enough for subsistence and for health, or what, like basic. He's like, he'll have yogurt in the morning with fruit. They'll give him yogurt. He'll ask for fruit, maybe around 11 o'clock. 2:30, he'll have one meal. At night, he says, I normally take porridge because it's very difficult with no activity to digest. So he says, so he exercises in the morning a few hours, maybe bicycles. I don't know. He didn't tell us if he bicycles for an hour, but he is allowed outside in the courtyard. At least he was till October. My sister, but because he was so angry when my sister met him. So my sister came out very disturbed because he says he's healthy. He looks younger than when he went in. So when they in the beginning, they were giving out this sort of disinformation in the media, making out AI generated pictures of him like an aged man on a stick, right, that, oh, he's about to fade away. Maybe he's got a heart condition. Maybe he's going to die, basically.
Right.
One day, my brother did say that, how they got rid of Morsi in jail. Most probably they're going to do the same thing to me. Oh. He said that maybe a year ago.
In Egypt.
So, yeah. Because we keep coming out and saying that he is very healthy, and that's the truth. He is very healthy. He's an athlete. He exercises all his life. He exercises for 2 hours a day, and he's very disciplined about it. But the thing is, because they thought, I don't think when they put him in jail, they thought that he would survive this long. They thought they'll break him, they'll offer him a deal, leave the country. Their deal has always been leave the country,
right,
or go into house arrest in at his home. He said, no, I'll face my cases. I will not do a deal for myself. Keep in mind, the only 3 things he has repeatedly asked for, and we brought the message out for him, was 3 things. Stand for the rule of law. He told his people, stand up for the rule of law. Stand up for democracy. Remember, they stole the people's vote on the 8th of February. And the 3rd thing he says is human rights abuses. He says if the judiciary was working, there would be no human rights abuses in Pakistan. The judiciary is completely collapsed. There are there are a lot of good judges, of course, but they dare not. They're threatened with their families are under pressure. They are threatened with dire consequences. And then, of course, there are some who are making money out of it or are corrupt. But generally, Pakistan is in a bad state. You will not understand based in USA.
And this is a great comment. Cowards flee the country. Real leaders stay back and face the bullies.
Yeah. You see, they thought they'll break him because he's become a symbol of resistance and he's standing for the people of Pakistan, and people understand he can leave anytime he wants. They know that. As long as, what do they want from him? Keep quiet. Most probably keep quiet. Don't do politics. But why? Why? He says it's not about politics. It's about the people of Pakistan. It's not about him trying to come out. It's the people who want him to represent them. What does that mean? That's what democracy is.
And speaking of which, I want to ask you about the protest that happened recently, that you were part of. We have some video from that, but can you just set up what happened?
Actually, we go every Tuesday. So a few weeks back, my sister, like there were maybe 30, 40 of us sitting there, and we said, fair enough, that's what we choose to do. We want to highlight this issue. So we said, no, we are sitting on the footpath at around midnight, my sisters and myself, and there were several other people there, some lawyers and supporters, young and old. And these policewomen had pulled my sister, she's 71, they pulled her on the ground and they were dragging her. She'd passed out. We didn't see it in the dark till we tried to sort of extract her from these policewomen. She'd She was in a state of shock. She had been dragged and she'd broken her arm last year, her left arm. She'd broken her wrist. So they were dragging her from the wrist, and we panicked that it's going to break again. It's like, you know, once you've broken a bone, it's risky. So so some of the other women, we had to recover my sister. And then they threw us, all of us, my sister and my same sister who they dragged, who passed out. Then they pushed us, shoved us, and these policewomen were saying, throw them into the van, throw them into the van. At our age, we were being sort of thrown into the van and taken about 40 minutes away. They don't arrest us, they drop us next to the motorway exit, hoping that we don't come back. So we came back the next week. But now public anger had grown. How dare you treat women like that? In Pakistan, that's not acceptable. And so the crowd grew. There was a bigger crowd. So there was a very large crowd. So that they protect us, basically. They came to protect us. And that was on the 25th of November. And then the next week, the crowd grew larger. They basically come fearing that we don't get attacked. We don't ask them to come. People come on their own, whether they are parliamentarians, whether they are volunteers, they are women, they are children, they are young children, they are women. They come from Imran Khan. They're coming basically hoping that the family or the lawyers meet Imran Khan so that they get news on how he is. And because he said that isolation is a torture worse than physical torture, people are worried about him. So they come, and the crowd have really grown, and they have a lot of roadblocks. People manage to come through sort of side streets and through the fields. People still turn up in spite of the roadblocks. So last time,
and here's a photo of you and your, just so people can see that this is a photo of you and your sisters.
This is 10 days ago.
Yeah.
This is where they put up. Now, this barricade is where they put it on the road themselves. We didn't ask them to put it on the road. So they blocked the whole double road. And so we sit over there. By the way, we don't know whether they'll allow us to meet or not, because sometimes they do allow us to meet. We protest. They've allowed my sister to meet. So we are protesting in order to put pressure to exercise our legal right to see our brother, his legal right not to be tortured, his legal right that he should not be in isolation. So this was last week. That time, we were there till about 2 o'clock. So the police did ask, are you going to leave? We said, no. We are basically naturally putting pressure on you to allow us to meet him. And we want to exercise our legal right. So that time when they brought the water cannon, it was just water, but they targeted my sisters who fell, and then they targeted them again, and they fell again. They targeted them 3 times. That pressure is really bad, because last time it got me. So there was one young man.
And how old are your sisters? Can you remind us?
71, and the other one is 66. Okay. So they fell. 65. So they felt like they did sort of scrape their hands and hurt them. And the people, the young men who were trying to help my sisters, one is a member of parliament in National Assembly. Because the pressure is so great, and with the water cannon, that's why it's called a cannon, is because of the pressure, that he slipped and fell into a drain, and he fractured his leg. Another one hurt himself because he fell into that drain as well from the pressure. And a lot of people hurt themselves that time, about 10 days ago. But on Tuesday, they thought now the crowd was really big. They are members of the National Assembly, they are lawyers, they are ministers from Imran Khan's government. Imran Khan has a government in one of the provinces, and they are senior ministers in that government. They put chemical in the water. And then, and don't forget, there are women, children, old people. It's not a young people's protest. This is a family protest. They are family. You should see how many children there were. They're like 6-year-old and 9-year-olds and 12 years old.
And
young children, and you put chemical in the water.
Right.
This is criminal.
We have here's one. So here's one video of the water cannons. And what are they saying? Can you translate what's being said if you can make it out?
There is somebody who's making the video saying that people are he's sort of giving news that, so you see this barricade. So this is along the road. The police is on one side and the people were just sitting over there. If you see videos, they were just sitting there. Right. So now you're dousing them with chemical water, all of them. And it's really dangerous chemical. And so basically to get rid of them or make them go home. Right. But let me tell you, the police who's standing there, the riot gear police, they're standing, remember where we are sitting, these police are standing right behind. The policemen are talking to us from behind the barrier and saying, you should do something. I said, do what? You should do something to get him out of jail. I said, listen, you're standing on the other side of the barricade. You are the one, if there's a conflict over here, youngsters are hot-blooded anywhere in the world. You give them a chance. I mean, if you get into a mob frenzy, you know that it can be dangerous anywhere. I said, you are our children on one side and there are children on both sides. We can never have you confront each other. He said, no, but you've got to do something, because we all in the police force, all of us support Imran Khan and we pray for him.
Oops. Uh-oh. Did she freeze for people watching? I will, let's see. Nate. Oh, there you are. Okay. You were frozen for a second. I thought you got censored for a second, got scared.
Yeah, no, Katie, because the people, the young people especially, when I say 90%, you have to understand it is 90%. It's children. There's this huge young population. Even I find that we get fascinated, 10-year-olds, 9-year-olds. Imran Khan is not just a person. He's a phenomena. And he's an idea. It's an ideology that he's given them, that you have a right in this country. You have a right and you have a duty and you have a right. And you do not accept tyranny. Do not become their slaves of this small elite mafia, because if you accept it now, your children and the future generations will always remain enslaved. So this is how democracies are formed anywhere in the world. This is how they are. So he's basically, and he's sort of educated them.
Right.
But now, on that day, when they doused us with that chemical, where can we go? You tell me. They doused, you saw that video. Because I don't think the police wants to say anything to anybody, by the way. Police really is not interested in attacking the people. They don't want to attack the women and children. That's why they brought a water cannon, I think. Because I feel they cannot depend on the police, because there's always a chance the police might rebel and refuse to attack women and children. They just might not. And they cannot have their police force refusing. So they brought a water cannon. Fair enough. We'll be back next Tuesday. We will be back next Tuesday. And I told everybody, I said, well, next time, if they're going to put chemical in their water, it's better to come with raincoats if you want to join us. Otherwise, we'll be there. That's the only solution we have, is to bring raincoats. We have nowhere to take our grievance.
And here's, I want to show a video of some children, okay? And can you tell us what's being said here?
बेशुमार 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 जिंदाबाद 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 जिंदाबाद.
So what-
This child is saying that you have, you have a lot of people who want you, Imran, basically, that you've got you have unlimited or thousands of people following you, but don't have to worry. That child is the one, there's not one child, all of these children come out and participate in the slogans. They're the ones who actually create slogans sometimes.
Yeah.
So it's a movement led by the young people. It's a time of social media. I don't think they were prepared for this. So they have throttled social media. They've throttled.
Right as she's saying they've throttled social media. We have a media connection issue. Let's see. If you are seeing this and frozen, you can probably hear us. So maybe Aleema, you can. Oh, there you are. Okay, great. And you can feel free to refresh the screen if you if this happens again. Yeah.
You see, because the next time, like we would have liked to have gone to a court that we were in a peaceful protest against Imran Khan's. Basically, we're protesting that Imran Khan is in solitary confinement. Now that is illegal, and that's unconstitutional, and that is against all national and international human rights laws. So why would you douse women and children with chemical water? But there is no court which will hear us. Instead, what has happened is that people who are sitting there in the protest, they have been charged under the Terrorism Act. Now, sitting in a protest, what terrorism were we committing? They made a joke out of the terrorism laws as well. They made these laws and they made a joke out of it.
Right.
Like anybody can be. One day there was this 10-year-old boy who got charged and they said, oh, we didn't realize we've also charged a 10-year-old boy. So neither the police takes it seriously, the judges have no standing anymore, nobody takes judges' orders seriously. So things are disintegrating at quite a fast pace, I would say.
And
But
here's
we
another
will fight for him.
Here's another video. This one's of you. So can you explain what's happening there?
That's when we were doused with that chemical water. Actually, it's pretty strong. It got me in my back. So I went flying face down. I think I sort of slightly fractured maybe one finger and grazed my knees. But you don't know at that time. At that time, you're cold. Remember, it's December. It's maybe 10, 12 degree temperature. And you're cold, but with that cold comes the burning. So if you're doused in it and your clothes are wet with that chemical, first your hands start hurting, and then your body really, really burns. But I told everybody, I said the good thing is that
keep going. I'm just showing it.
Yeah, we are all soaked. Not only am I soaked, so is everybody around us. So the gentleman on the right, his eyes were burning, and he's a member of parliament, mind you. There are several members of parliament standing over there, and these ladies, like she's a lawyer, the one you see over here on the screen is a lawyer. They're all soaked.
Right.
Like she's dislocated her arm. She's the one on the left screen, this in the black, she dislocated her arm because. So they are. The thing is that these were. The people standing over there are members of parliament, lawyers. One of them is a ticket who's got a stolen mandate. Now they are all soaked. One with dislocated arm, the other one is hurt. But at that time, you're just beginning to feel the burning sensation. So everybody was checking with each other afterwards. There is a head of a very respected head of a party, Aleema Nasser, who's a senior gentleman, And he felt they dropped him with that cannon thrice, and they were actually targeting with the cannon. But you think it's deterred people? It hasn't. I think next time it'll be a bigger crowd. It just keeps growing. The more they attack, the bigger it gets. Remember, it's only our visit, but the defiance is growing.
Right.
It should happen actually.
I want to show another video that gives a sense of what's happening there. So let me just, I'm going to play this from I'm going to screen share this. 1 second, please. Thanks everyone for their patience. And in the meantime, please do again, like the stream and share the stream. We want to make sure people are finding out about this really important story. You can also support the show, although no pressure. This is just, if you can, at patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show. Again, that's patreon.com/the Katie Halper Show. And that's a way to help make the show possible, because we literally couldn't do this without your support. And you can support it for as little as $1 a month. So that's $12 a year. Or you can, if you want to pay $5 a month, you get extended interviews, bonus interviews, early access. But again, if you can't pull, if that's too much, we're really happy with $1 a month, $12 a year. Also, please, again, do like the stream, do share the stream, do subscribe. We're at almost 400,000. This though, because this is such an important story, we're obviously not going to make this a Patreon only or paywall any of this, because this is such an important story. So we make sure not to do that. But you do get really great bonus and extended interviews if you're a Patreon. So let's see. I'm going to show another stream, another clip of what you can see what happened to these protesters. Okay, 1 second. I don't think there's audio.
Yeah.
But yeah.
He's head of one of the parties. He's also the opposition leader. Is the leader of the opposition in the Senate. He's a senior. Look what you're doing to your own parliamentarians. His name is Raja Nasir Abbas, and he's the leader of the opposition in the Senate. And they were dousing him, and some of them are members of the opposition. They're parliamentarians.
Wow. What's he saying? Oh, she froze again. There she is. I'm going to just show more clips.
Chemical unke upar.
Here again is the water cannon. Are you okay? You're back. Can you tell us what this gentleman is saying?
He's defiant. I can't hear him, but he's as I said, is the leader of the opposition in the Senate.
Okay.
These are the people they are attacking. It's a disrespect for the representatives of the people. This is who they are disrespecting, basically, the representatives of the people. Right. That's what you see on screen right now, because they're all parliamentarians representing millions of people. Each has come with a vote of several 100,000 votes. So they are basically just disrespectful to the people. And the only person whose name, I mean, what I'm saying to you today will be another case on me, but I will say it, that when you're a government servant, like you take an oath to serve your country, you are in the service, a government service. I'm sure you in the US have many generals who are sometimes fired. Are they not fired? Now imagine if a general in US Army says that I'm not going to retire, but I would like to continue another 3 years. And then he says, I want to continue another 5 years. And in fact, I want to take over the whole military, all the 3 services. And then basically I rule with with agencies who are standing with me, because the politicians over here, their own puppet government, dare not speak up either. And I say, keep in mind what I'm saying to you right now. That's a short ticket to the jail.
Right. I want to show one other video of someone who was doused. 1 second, please. Thanks everyone for your patience. Okay, 1 second. Here we go.
ऐसा पानी उन्होंने मारा उसके पूरा बदन जल रहा है भाई, बदन जल रहा है। ये देखिए इतना गंदा जहरीला पानी था, अल्लाह इन्हें गर्क करे। इस टाइम पुलिस की गाड़ियां पीछे से देख रहे हैं, तो पुलिस के टोले आ रहे हैं।
You want me to start from the beginning and then you can tell us?
Yeah, no, I just heard him. He said, my eyes are burning and my whole body is burning. It's obviously, and there were hundreds of policemen also following them. I didn't see the police saying anything to anybody, by the way. I mean, they generally didn't. Most probably they were given a target to at least pick up 14 or 15 of them. So they must have been given a target, because like, how do you choose out of these people who are retreating in front of this water cannon? How do you decide that you need to pick some of them up? Literally, that's exactly what happened.
Right.
Like, why would you pick up 14 of them? So what they did was they kept some of them. They're like, I think they've kept several of them. They let go some of the lawyers, but they've kept them, and they've kept them in police custody. For what purpose? There were several hundred or maybe over 1,000 people retreating. So why would you pick up 14? It's like they needed to pick up somebody, and they just picked up randomly. One of them, lawyers who was standing with me, suddenly the police, 2 policemen came and grabbed him and went off with him. So there was no reason why they were. There's no reason why anybody's picked up any longer. Anybody can be picked up. And the sad part, Katie, the problem, and I'm glad you're highlighting it, and you're highlighting it in USA, which is very sad, that as the global world order is changing, it's not our generation anymore. We look like ancient relics now, feel like relics, don't even know how to operate systems. But there's a new generation of young people in Pakistan. Maybe 60% of our generation of people are young and smart young people. You're talking about maybe 110, 120 million young people who use social media, obviously as a form of expression, is their form of freedom, is their only platform where they can express themselves. Otherwise, they don't feel they have a right. 3 million people have left Pakistan in the past 3 years. So who do you think these 3 million people are? They are educated young people. They are fearful right now in Pakistan. They don't see a future because of the economic situation on a downslide. They also fear being young. If they speak up, they will be thrown in jail, and can they afford to be in jail? So they leave the country. So, but do keep in mind that the future is for the young people, whether it's in Pakistan, whether it's anywhere in the world. The young people are changing the dynamics, and it's not acceptable even in Pakistan amongst the young people to be preached about democracy by people who have democracy, and support dictatorship in a country like Pakistan. It's not acceptable anymore. You lose moral authority and moral standing if you support dictators, and not in just Pakistan, but Pakistan, because we have such a large young population, will stand up. They will get their freedom. But But when you are championing democracy, it's that positioning that current democracies in the world will be losing. That position you cannot sustain
And
when you support a dictator.
can you talk about your own the way that you've been punished? And I know that I heard you during an interview. You said you were embarrassed because you weren't in prison for that long. But can you talk about your past arrests and also the most recent round of charges against you under the terrorism laws?
Actually, my sister and I were arrested before the protest started. We were just, there were just two of us standing in an empty road. We got picked up for, I don't know, what were we doing? We weren't doing anything. We weren't even breaking any laws. But so we spent 3 weeks in prison. And but when you come out and then you meet people, we had one cell to ourselves, that 8 by 10. I was in one, my sister was in one. We were isolated completely. We had no news. We have a right to, the next door, the real criminal ladies had television, they had access to telephones. We did not. We were like isolated. But trust me, we had a cell to ourselves. It was like living en suite in a 10 by 8 cell. Do you know they sometimes have put 6 women in that little space where 3 people sleep and 3 had to stay awake? Same for men. Like, although jail cells in Pakistan, they open your doors and at dawn and close it at dusk so people can step out. We have courtyards and they have grounds. They're not internalized like in overseas that we see in pictures. But our jails are open except what they are doing to my brother. My brother is kept in a worse condition than normal people in jail, worse condition. So when you see the condition of other people, months, and they come out of jail, poor people, and they are so motivated and standing up for a cause, that's why it's embarrassing when you say, we've only been in jail for 3 weeks, and they come out and say, we've been there for 8 months, 6 months.
Right. And the most recent charges that you're facing, what is it? Oh, she froze. How is it terrorism? In case you can probably hear me, you're just frozen on our end. So once you get back, I want to ask you about that.
Actually, there's one trial that they've started me, and I think there's speculation. Not just speculation. There's one expert on television who comes and announces convictions before the judges have announced it.
Oh.
And this it seems to be quite normal over here. Like last year in December, he said Imran Khan is going to get 14 years imprisonment, and Bushra, his wife, is going to get 7 years. And 1 month later, that's exactly this conviction they got. And now he's announced about 2 months ago that I'm going to get 5 years conviction. So the charges that I'm facing is that I brought my brother's message out on the 22nd of November. So they're in a hurry. I don't think they really are interested in the trial as much as how soon to hand over the conviction, which we are trying to challenge in High Court. But trust me, you go to a High Court, they've got a special judge, Chief Justice of the Islamabad High Court, specially brought in so that he doesn't hear my brother's case. If my brother's case and Bushra Bibi's case, they were convicted nearly a year ago.
That's his
11
wife.
months and 20 days ago, and charged 14 years and 7 years. Now, our lawyer has gone to High Court for a bail. So they should get a bail because it's a very bad case. It's a very weak case. The moment he presents the case in High Court, they should be given bail immediately. Bushra Bibi, his wife, is in jail for aiding and abetting. And nobody still knows what the crime is.
Oh, wow.
It's already been.
My dog is
it's a
upset about that
farce.
too. Sorry.
But the thing is that they should have been released months ago. This judge refuses to allow the bail application to be heard in High Court. Now, if you go to the same court, you're not going to get any justice. This is a specially placed judge. So they are saying that you brought out Imran Khan's message on the 22nd of November last year. And the message was, I gave my brother's message to the media, which was that he spoke to the people of Pakistan that you must stand up for the rule of law, for democracy, which is their stolen mandate, and for human rights. And he says, as per the constitution and the law, you should come out. And he gave a call for a protest on the 24th of November. And that was the only message. So that's the criminal charge I am facing right now for bringing his message out.
Wow. Well, there's an update that I want to talk about, and this is a very important story. So recently, the UN Special Rapporteur on Torture, Alice Jill Edwards, commented on the treatment of your brother, decrying his, quote, inhumane detention and conditions and calling for its end. Now, obviously, the people who hate your brother and represent the government are not happy with that. And I want to give you a chance to respond to a response from Musharraf Zaidi, who appeared on an interview on Sky News with the excellent journalist Yalda Hakim.
Yeah.
And tell us, before I play this clip, just tell us a little bit about Musharraf Zaidi and who he is.
I don't know him. I don't know who he is.
He's the spokesperson for the Prime Minister. Okay.
I don't know about him.
Okay.
I don't know anything about him.
All right. Well, let me play this clip, and you'll see he's someone who's kind of politically evolved. Okay. Not in a good way. Okay. So let me play this clip. Let's see. That would be clip 4. Okay. So here he is responding to claims that your brother's being held unjustly, and also video from your brother's 2 sons.
Absolutely. And why the international community, the UN, is saying it's unlawful?
Well, I think the UN folks have been watching Sky News too much, so maybe they need to chill.
I mean, you would think the special rapporteur would know what she's talking about.
Like I said, I think Dr. Alice...
By the way, for people who watch this, people have been subjected to Jonathan Greenblatt of the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League. He reminds me of him, the way he talks. And he also kind of reminds me of Netanyahu, but let's take a listen.
Jared, these are huge names in their fields, and I think the government absolutely, Pakistan is very, very keen on multilateralism. It's really a way of life for Pakistani diplomacy.
I want to keep you focused. Go ahead.
On this, Imran Khan's been incarcerated for about 860 days. How many unique visits, interviews is what we call them in our system, do you think he's had in those 860 days?
You tell me, you've got the numbers.
He's supposed to get, as you said, 1 every week. Correct. And it's been about 112 weeks. He's had 870. But just on his family, he's had 137 meetings with his sisters, 45 with Aleema, 49 with Uzma, 43 with Nori. Now, Uzma's numbers are a bit outdated. I think he's had 2 more since then.
So
these are 137, 140-ish
so help me understand why the boys haven't spoken to him on the phone.
I'll come to
and she's talking about his sons there.
That in a second.
4 months for one and 5 months for
I'll come to that in a second. But this doesn't...
See, he's not answering the question, right? So she's asking him particularly about the sons. Well, and we're playing this so that you can respond to this.
Sound like solitary confinement to me. But let me give you more.
That doesn't define, by the way, getting visits doesn't define whether it's solitary confinement. Yeah, shame. Okay. You want me to play more and then you can react to it?
Yeah,
sorry
I mean,
about this. I should have told you to take a Dramamine.
First of all, that poor Prime Minister himself, I mean, when they send these people on air, trust me, the poor Prime Minister, plus his whole cabinet, plus everybody, they are sent out and told to perform. They are so fearful because of when you're sitting with somebody else's stolen mandate and whoever's handed you over the stolen mandate, you're obliged to them. Then they give you orders and they're pretty stuck with them. But this man I'll tell you what he's saying. We never go separately. We are always together, right? So these are not separate visits. It's one visit. Keep in mind, he's been in jail for 2.5 years, right? In 2.5 years, in the first year, I myself said till April, family visits were allowed. And it's not just 2. Remember, our court order says 6 people, 6 family members.
Let's see. She's frozen again. I'll play more of the clip.
451 interviews with his lawyers. 451.
Well, right now,
in 860
the UN is saying that he hasn't got adequate medical attention.
Let me get to the medical. Let me get to the medical. I have a list.
I want to hear the medical.
List of 30 plus visits. Not only by the way, there was some talk about military. There's no military doctors. In fact, Dr. Faisal Sultan,
personal physician, is allowed to see him.
Dr. Faisal Sultan has seen him.
His personal physician is allowed to see him.
Yeah, absolutely, and they have seen him multiple times. Again, luckily,
I mean,
I was.
Why is the UN special rapporteur saying this? Why is the family saying that they didn't know where he was?
Because
for 4 weeks?
they're being misinformed.
Why today are the sisters still waiting outside the jail and they're not allowed to go in?
The sisters aren't waiting outside the jail.
I was told it was
Imran Khan supporters.
2 o'clock in the morning, and they're still outside the.
Okay, so I like the way he's trying to say that you and the UN are subjected to misinformation. But please respond to what he's saying.
First of all, the poor man is sitting in London, correct? He's sitting in London. And then on top of that, to have a spokesperson who's, I mean, if I was I wouldn't be anybody's spokesperson and embarrass myself and look foolish. So this man obviously has doesn't have an issue embarrassing himself. The boys haven't spoken to him for 4 months. One of them, when his call got connected, we had met our brother after that, and my brother said, I don't know, 3 minutes or whatever, and it got disconnected. They disconnected
just over the phone, right? When you say spoken to him.
Yeah, that's the phone. So the point is that why are you stopping him from talking to his sons? First, tell me that. I mean, can anybody tell me as an individual in this world, what is your issue? Are you scared of Imran Khan? Like, why are you torturing him? Like, what has he done? Like, what is his crime? It's not his cases which are the crime, obviously. It is the fear of him being supported by 90% of Pakistan. That's not going to change. It's growing. So why would you deprive him? You've got to be a very petty, mean enemy. You know what I'm saying? You have to be a petty, mean, and nasty enemy. And you really thought that playing that low makes you rise up somewhere. Because the last time my brother said, he said that. He said he's not right in his mind, Asim Munir. And that's most probably why we've been locked out for the past 3 weeks.
Right.
I mean, it's like, why do you have to put out these people to sit there to defend something like that? If you are man enough, I would be standing there and saying, yeah, I've done it. So sue me. But at least stand up and say that I've done it. You fall even lower when you keep falling.
Right.
Like since you don't have any dignity, there's nothing we can take away from you because you don't already have it. Like, you don't have dignity. Have some dignity. That's all I'm saying. When you were playing this man, I felt like saying, I don't even want to respond to him. It's like, I don't need to respond to this man.
Right.
Like, we are stupid sitting at 2 o'clock at night outside the jail. Like, really, we enjoy sitting outside the jail at 2 o'clock at night. Explain to me for what purpose.
Right. Well, here, I'm sorry, I know he's unpleasant to listen to, but I think it's worth playing because it shows the moral bankruptcy of your brother's critic. So Let's take
this
another
today,
look.
but I'm just going to pull up a couple of your posts on Twitter. One from May
You're going to like this because you're going to see he's changed politically.
9th, 2023.
Is this from before I was working for the government or after?
Before that you were working for the government. The day Imran Khan was arrested, you wrote on social media, and I'm going to pull it up on my screen. You say Imran Khan's arrest is disgraceful. It reconfirms that Pakistan will not be able to become a normal country anytime soon. Any election process that denies Khan or anyone else the chance to compete freely will be a compromised election. You go on in 2024, in January 2024, again before you joined government, you said you repeated a similar sentiment, saying Imran Khan's jail sentence is another indication of the system-wide barrier to his participation in the political process. It will validate his supporters' belief that the system is rigged to deny him and his party the path back to Prime Minister's office. Do you stand by these tweets that you put out?
At the time that I tweeted them, absolutely. What happened in the time since these tweets were written
you
and
worked
authored?
for government.
Well, other things happened too, Yelda. Pakistan was
Like
attacked
what?
by a country almost 10 times its size and was able to defend itself reasonably well, even though it has trouble, the country has trouble convincing folks that that's the case. Not only was it attacked by India, but there was an attack from Iran, and there's constant terrorist attacks from Afghanistan.
But what does that have to do
I'll
with
tell you what it
Imran
has to do.
Khan's treatment in jail?
The circumstances of the way in which Pakistan has to deal with its local security and governance challenges
Are you saying Imran
have
Khan is a
changed
threat?
fundamentally.
A national security
Absolutely.
threat?
Okay, so the reason he's changed his opinion on your brother and his treatment being shameful is because of international politics. And also, your brother's a national security threat, is what he's saying.
First of all, he's very badly versed about Iran and Afghanistan. That was really bad. I wouldn't come on air. I wouldn't sit on television and talk about Iran is attacking Pakistan. No, Iran came and visited and supported the Pakistani people for standing by them.
Yeah,
And
it sounds very
Afghanistan is an
Israeli. Like, this is what Israel does. They blame Iran. But yeah, sorry, keep going. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, the point is that Imran Khan is in jail for 2.5 years, full stop. Now, are you saying that a man sitting in jail is causing international problems? How? You've got to have a whole country standing behind him for him to be a problem. So just by him saying that, he's just admitted that a man has to be isolated and still the man refuses to go away. That's what he's saying, basically. He's talking about Afghanistan and Iran and India. If I was him, I'd stay at home and not talk about geopolitical politics.
Yeah.
And he's represented Pakistan. I mean, the Prime Minister of Pakistan, even don't forget, he just barged into a meeting between Putin and Erdogan. He barged into a meeting. That's not diplomatic norms. So it's a waste of time to mention him, but you can see how everything turns around and blame Imran Khan for it.
Yeah. It just it makes no sense, like, that even if he were accurate about what's happening internationally, it makes no sense that would change his position on the treatment of your brother. Because again, in 2023, he wrote, so Musharraf Zaidi, who's now a spokesperson to the current Pakistani PM, he wrote, Imran Khan's arrest is disgraceful and reconfirms that Pakistan will not be able to become a normal country anytime soon. So again, what on earth could be happening in Iran or Afghanistan that would have any impact on the treatment of your brother, or could justify the treatment of your brother?
Because he didn't have an answer for it. Simple.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Yeah.
So, I mean, like, you can tell. I mean, I'm really embarrassed for him to be put in this position. But I would suggest that he should find another job.
Yes, good idea. Although he's maybe helpful because he's such an idiot. So maybe he's helpful because showing how idiotic and really disingenuous more than anything else, and so condescending. And he actually had the gall to say to the journalist with whom he's speaking, to Yalda Hakim, he said, you know, people are being misinformed, and you know that because you've been duped by deep fakes. She wasn't duped by deep fakes. There was a deep fake made about her.
Yeah, and you know what it was? You know, when she was doing my interview, somebody sent me a clip that we didn't speak about India. We never spoke about India. And it was, for a minute, a lot of people asked me, and I said, yeah, that sounds like me. It sounded like me. And it was actually a very good fake because it looked as if I'm talking about it. So Yalda did a program on it then, that it was obviously done from Pakistan. They did it on my sister as well when she spoke to the media and saying similar things about India. Like my sister supposedly said that she would want Modi to maybe attack Pakistan again.
Right.
I mean, that's the sort of deep fake. And mine was also about India. You know, my brothers, I don't know what, and I don't know, Asim Munir is against India. I don't know. It was something to that effect when I was speaking to Yalda. So she did a program on it, and that was a deep fake.
Yeah, but
she was quite shocked.
Yeah, and it's ridiculous. So this guy Zaidi is trying to say, "Oh, don't believe the news of from the UN because deep fake, because misinformation, because you've fallen prey to that." And I want to show one of the deep fakes about Yalda herself. So let's just take a look at this clip. Okay. And it is scary because you can't really tell that these things are fake.
Yeah.
But again, to try to hide behind this to justify, to obfuscate the torture of Imran Khan is really shameful. And that's why you said it best yourself. You said shame on him. Okay, so let's just play this 1 second.
Or independent inspection has verified these.
Yalda joins me now, and clearly serious concern now about the conditions in which Imran Khan is being held.
Yes, absolutely, Mark. They describe Imran Khan's condition as being held in a death cell. On international media, statements from PTI, particularly Khan's sons and sisters, has highlighted allegations of isolation, psychological torture, and complete solitary confinement. However, these claims require substantiation. To date, no court order, medical report, or independent inspection has verified these assertions. While the concerns raised by Khan's family deserves empathy, they must also be subjected to rigorous scrutiny.
Yalda joins me now, and clearly
she didn't actually say that. That part.
Yeah,
she didn't say that part. And she tweeted out that misrepresented what she had said.
So this is coming from, they checked it, it sort of, the earlier one, the one that was on me with Yalda it came out of Pakistan. I think there's cyber security people who can identify that.
Right.
So this is how desperate things are getting. I mean, it's like when you're digging a hole, dig deeper. This is what they're doing. It's not going away. People are not fearful, anymore, and people are going to fight for their freedom. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. They will rise. They will fight for their freedom. Imran Khan has become a symbol of what you call resistance. And he's a prisoner of conscience. He's not, everybody knows that. In Pakistan, anywhere in the world, people do know that.
Right. Well, I want to thank you so much for your generosity and your time. Do you have any final words during this? I would love to have you back on, and other supporters of your brother and perhaps his sons, if they'd be willing to. But do you have any words you want to wrap with for this interview?
Actually, if they thought they were going to break Imran Khan, it's just for the people. So many people ask us, and so many people have sent us messages being concerned about him. They should read his tweets. he's very clear about what he's said. I mean, his messages are very clear to people. He's never once said, come out for me. Never once has he asked. He's never said, oh, free me. His lawyer, Salman Safdar, he said, in all my years as a lawyer, and he's a criminal lawyer, and he's sort of represented many people. He said, I've even represented people who supposedly suspected of committing murder. Everybody after 4 months will say, how soon can you get me out? How soon can you get me out? He said, never has Imran Khan asked me, how soon are you going to get me out? He said, he's so content with his fight for, he's facing his cases. He's never been disrespectful to the
Again, she's frozen, but again, something to point out is he's never accepted these offers of being released from jail, being allowed to go to another country. So perhaps that's what she's referring to. She is frozen again. Guys, just wanted to encourage you, even if you're watching this later, please do like this stream. Please do share this stream. It's really important to talk about. She's gone, disconnected. Also, for people who are watching this show for the first time, welcome. Thank you so much. Make sure you subscribe by hitting subscribe and then pressing the bell, because we're going to keep focusing and covering Pakistan. And I usually stream Tuesdays at 7 p.m. at youtube.com/The Katie Halper Show. Oh, she's back. Okay. Again, that's youtube.com/The Katie Halper Show. We'll bring her back if she comes back on. And please do support the show at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show, where you can support the show, which we could not do without that support, for $1 a month, or if you can swing it, $5 a month. And the $5 a month gives you access to extended interviews, which are great. Let's see. I think we're gonna wrap because there she is. Okay, I want to give Aleema the final word. Okay.
Just before I go away, that Imran Khan really would like that people should stand up for their own rights. That's what he wants. That's what his dream is, that people should fight for themselves. I mean, stand up against tyranny, stand up and not get enslaved by an elite capture. That's his repeated, I think his dream will come true if people do stand up and combat the tyranny. Because he says, nobody's going to hand you your freedom. He calls it the true freedom. And he says, unless you don't think in terms of liberty or death, that's the, it's like a revolutionary, it's this song, it's the call of the revolution. Is unless you don't believe that it's liberty or death, freedom should be that important to you, you will never, never be free. That's what he says. And he says that if you remain slaves, if you do not fight now, your children and their future generations will also be enslaved. So he needs them to free the country, free the people. It's 250 million people. And there's a young generation and they believe in it, but he wants them to stand up for themselves. He doesn't need them to stand for him alone. He's never asked for it. He says, I'll accept death. He said that repeatedly to us, repeatedly. Like one day he said, I'll accept death. Myself and Bushra Bibi will accept death, but we will never bow to tyranny. We will never bow to this Pharaoh, like Pharaoh of Moses.
Right.
So he says that, and I remember my sister turned around saying, you shouldn't say that. I'll die rather than accept. I will never bow my head to tyranny and Pharaoh. So my sisters, don't say that. So we said, we'll instead say, till I'm alive. You know, like we don't even want him to use that term.
Right. Yeah, of
But
course.
he's very clear.
As long as I'm alive. Yeah.
He's very clear that I will die in jail, but I will not accept it. And we don't want him to say that. So we know that we are going to fight for him, because we know that he's not looking at himself, he's looking at his people rising for themselves.
Right.
And we need to fight for him, because if we don't fight for him, we just have to fight for him. We are going to get him out of jail. That's something that we'll fight, or we are ready that we'll also accept that we'll die, but we will not give up on somebody who's fought for principles and for Pakistan for the past 2.5 years.
Well, thank you so much, Aleema Khan. Thank you to you. Thank you to your family for your bravery. And we'd love to have you back on to keep us updated on this really important case that is receiving very little attention from Western media.
Thank you, Katie. Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you. And give regards to your brother next time you communicate with him.
Yeah, but we just pray that it's going to be soon.
Yes. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Great night for you.
Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Bye. Okay, thank you guys so much for tuning in. That was great. What a brave woman. What commitment and steadfastness that we're seeing on the part of Aleema Khan and her family. What a shameful spokesperson that guy is. Zaidi, speaker for prime minister, again has the disingenuous, condescending tone that we hear from people like Benjamin Netanyahu and ADL's Jonathan Greenblatt. He even sounds like his voice sounds like Jonathan Greenblatt. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Please do subscribe so you don't miss any more of these streams. I do stream every night at Tuesday at 7 p.m., but we're going to be doing more and more of these extra streams. So the way you make sure you don't miss that is by subscribing, youtube.com/The Katie Halper Show. Again, that's youtube.com/The Katie Halper Show. You press subscribe and then you hit the bell. And also, please do become Patreon supporters at patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. That's patreon.com/The Katie Halper Show. And please give this a thumbs up. If you're watching this later, give it a thumbs up. If you're watching it live, give it a thumbs up. We will see you next Tuesday at 7 p.m. And we release clips every day of the week. So again, thank you, everyone. And see you on Tuesday. Bye.